What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Weight Zone podcast, and we are back for another MMA event. This is UFC Fight Night, Yan versus Figueiredo. Very excited for this card. This card is going to be starting at a weird time. This fight is going to be held in Macau, and this fight is going to be starting for Pacific Standard Time where I'm at. It is going to be held at 12 a.m. I will be taking a nap very soon after I post this video so I can wake up later. I'm going to be up watching the fight, so hopefully we cash out on these fight guys. I did a lot of fight research on this card. I've been watching the road to UFC, so I know the final tournaments, the final tournament championship matches for these. And guys, I'm excited for this. I'm a big Peter Yan fan, so hopefully he does good out here. So, I mean, spoiler alert, I'm a big Peter Yan fan, so that should tell you exactly who I'm taking in the main event. So, let's get right into this first fight of the night, guys. It's going to be Maheshate taking on Nicholas Mota, and I'm going to be taking Maheshate, guys. I just not a fan of Nicholas Mota. Nicholas Mota is a guy that comes out there just is straight power. He comes out there and just tries to outpower you and bully you, but he's more of a guy that bullies you, but he can't take a punch himself. Nicholas Mota just doesn't have a chin. And Maheshate, honestly, this is a very low-level fight in my opinion. Maheshate is not as good as himself, but he does have the power to knock out Nicholas Mota. I do believe this is going to be a stand-up battle, and we're probably in the first round or round and a half. Maheshate is eventually going to catch that chin and knock out Nicholas Mota, guys. The line is set at over 1.5, and Maheshate is almost a -160 favorite. I don't like the line at all. I feel like he's too big of a favorite. I thought this fight was more close of a pick him, but I'm going to be putting a small bet on Maheshate. I do think he knocks out Nicholas Mota, and I think Nicholas Mota doesn't have a chin, and Maheshate is going to crack him right on his jaw and put him to sleep. So give me Maheshate to win the first fight of the night, guys. I think he wins this fight by first round knockout. This next fight is going to be Zhao Long taking on Quang Le, and I'm going to be taking Quang Le in this one, guys. Both these guys have very decent records. Both have been fighting for about a decent amount of time. Zhao Long has about the 26 and I think it was a 26-8 record, and Quang Le has fought a decent amount of people as well. But I think this fight just basically going to come down to who's fought the better skilled opponent. I think their skill level is almost about the same exact skill, where Zhao Long is probably going to try to get the fight taken down, and Quang Le is going to stop a lot of the takedowns. The fight's going to end up being a standing battle just because of the takedown defense that Quang Le has. I think Quang Le is going to land the harder shots. I think he's going to have more volume. And then the last time he fought Chris Gutierrez, he came on a week's notice, and he earned a lot of my respect in that fight. He very surprised me a lot. I had Chris Gutierrez in that fight. Chris Gutierrez did win that fight, but Quang Le showed off of coming for 1 week notice, he just put on a great fight. And I just think Zhao Long has been fighting a lot of fights recently. I think he's had like 4 or 5 fights this year, and I just believe like he's gonna have the burnout where at the end of the year he's not gonna have it as much because he's just fighting so much, and he's fighting a lot of lower level competition. So this is a big level of competition up for him in the UFC. So give me Quang Le, the guy that's been fighting in LFA, and he just came on short notice against a very good fighter, Chris Gutierrez, to show a good count of himself. So give me Quang Le on the money line. I think he wins this fight. All right, guys, this is gonna be the next fight. It's gonna be the first leg of my parlay. I'm gonna be making probably a 3-leg parlay for my most confident fights of the night, but this is gonna be the first leg of it. I'm a big fan of this guy. Lover Kavanagh taking on Jose Ochoa, and I'm gonna be taking Loner Kavanagh, guys. I think this guy is legit. I've been watching this guy for a long time in Cage Warriors. I've watched him in Dana White's Contender Series, and in the Contender Series, he fought a guy who I think is actually better than Jose Ochoa. I think the guy that Loner Kavanagh fought in the Contender Series is good enough to be in the UFC, and Loner Kavanagh just put him on a highlight, just knocked him out, and I really believe in this kid. I think he's gonna be a top 10 fighter, so hopefully he comes out here and proves me right. I think Jose Ochoa from Peru has decent hands, and he has a good training camp out there. But I'm all over Loner Kavanagh. I think this guy's going to be top 10 in this division. I think he's the real deal. Kind of like where I was all over Ilia Topuria when I first saw him fight. I thought the same exact thing for Loner Kavanagh. I think Ilia Topuria is better than Loner Kavanagh, but I have that feeling Loner Kavanagh is going to be up there in that top 5 echelon fighter. So give me Loner Kavanagh to win this fight. I think he wins this fight by knockout. Alright, guys, this next fight is going to be Jargal taking on Carlos Hernandez, and I'm going to be taking Carlos Hernandez to win this fight, guys. I think this fight's going to come down to just the grind, who wants it more, and Carlos Hernandez is fighting all the best guys in the division. Yes, he is losing to the guys in the division, where he just lost to Ray Teixeira. He just lost to Tai Teixeira, but he's putting a great count of himself. He has great grappling. He has great cardio. He's always putting fight back. And I just think Jargal, who's been fighting in Mongolia and who's just been pressuring these guys and bullying these guys out in Mongolia and has fought a lot of low-level competition, he's finally come out here fighting a guy that's been fighting against good competition, but been given a good count of himself, has good cardio, has good jiu-jitsu, has good wrestling. And I think it's going to be too much for him. So give me Carlos Hernandez to win this fight. I think he grinds this fight out, maybe getting a submission victory late in the fight or winning this fight by decision. Give me Carlos Carlos Hernandez. Alright guys, this next fight is going to be the women's strawweight. I just had to post this picture because this is how the UFC had it, guys. I went to go take my little picture of the website, and the UFC just disrespected Feng Zhaokan, guys. They have Shi Ming out there having the biggest smile on her face, and then they just went over here and put a question mark for this other girl. I was like, I was going to go to Tapology and take a picture of that one and post it for that one to use that picture for this fight, but I had to show you how much disrespect they had for this girl. But honestly, guys, I'm taking Feng Zhaokan. I think she's going to end up being the winner of this Road to UFCs for this women's strawweight. I like her a lot. I think she has very good striking. She has good takedown defense. The only way Shi Ming wins this fight is if she gets the fight to the floor, and I don't think she's going to be able to get the fight to the floor. She comes in there, she's fought against a lot of low-level competition, and she was a plus 300 underdog in her last fight in the Road to UFC, and now she's coming in here fighting against a girl that's been the favorite to win almost every single fight, and Shi Ming ended up being a girl that cashed that plus 280, plus 300 ticket, and now she's going in here, and rightfully so, she's a big underdog as well, but I think Feng goes on here and wins this fight. She's going to be the second leg of that parlay I add with Loner Kavanagh. That's going to be the second leg of that parlay. It's going to be Loner Kavanagh so far, and I'm going to be adding Feng Zhaokan to this fight. I think she ends up just going to be able to keep this fight standing up, land the harder strikes, get a decision victory, or maybe even get a knockout late in the fight. So give me Feng Zhaokan to win this one in the second leg of that parlay. Alright guys, this fight's going to be Kairi Sahota taking on Dong Chung Choi, and it's going to be a very competitive fight. I think this line is set at a pick'em at the moment, but at the moment I think I'm going to be taking Dong Chung Choi. I just like Choi a lot. Choi is a guy that was born in England. He's been fighting a lot. He has an England citizenship, so he's been fighting a lot in the English circuit. He went back to South Korea for his mandatory South Korean military, and he's in good shape, guys. He's been fighting since he was 16 years old, and this guy Kairi Sahota, he throws decent hands as well, but in my opinion he's very long, and I think he's just gonna have trouble with the pressure. I think he keeps his chin too wide, and I think this is gonna be a very competitive fight. Like I said, guys, I don't know if I'm gonna actually put a wager on this one myself, but I am gonna be taking Dong Chung Choi to win this fight. I think I've been saying Dong Chung, I think it's Dong Gung Choi to win this fight, but I'm gonna be taking him to win. I think he's just gonna have the more pressure. I think he's gonna mix in the wrestling. I think he's the more high-end younger prospect, so give me the Dong Gung Choi from South Korea, or should I say England, to come out there, because he's been fighting a lot of high-level competition in England. So let me say, guys, probably not going to bet this one, but it's very close, but give me Choi to win this one. Alright guys, this one is going to be Bargang Gillespie taking on Suyoung Yu, and this fight is going to be another one that's very close as well, and I'm probably not going to have a bet on this one as well, but I'm going to be taking Suyoung Yu, guys. If I am going to bet it, I'm probably going to put a small bet on it. I just think this guy has been fighting way better competition. When it comes down to it, Bargang Gillespie had just fought a guy that was he was like 7-18, and that was a fight that I watched, and he didn't even look good against that guy. The other guy just taking him down a couple times. He got right back up, but it just seems like the striking was very even. And a guy that's lost a lot of fights and was just a journeyman still fighting, that probably shouldn't be fighting, was actually giving him a great fight. And Suyoung Yu has been fighting high-level competition. The only fight he's actually lost recently was the one he just lost to a Russian that was just taking him down over and over again, which is understandable, but he does have good hands. He does have good pressure. I think this fight's going to come down to who wants it more, and I think I'm going to be taking the guy Suyoung Yu has been fighting the higher competition, who has a higher output, and I think he has a better cardio. So give me Suyoung Yu to win this one. Alright guys, this next fight is going to be Zhang Mingyang taking on Ozzy Diaz. And first off, guys, I thought this was Malkoon. If you guys know UFC, I thought this was Jacob Malkoon out here when I first looked at the fight. But it's going to be Ozzy Diaz taking on Zhang Mingyang. And I'm going to be taking the big underdog in Ozzy Diaz, guys. Zhang Mingyang is a guy that goes out there, is killed to be killed. He has a type of fight. He's been fighting, first of all, he's been fighting a lot of low-level competition. Then he came out here and fought Ribeiro, where Ribeiro is not a great fighter as well. And he went in here, it was tit for tat, swing and bang. First one to get hit goes down. And he ended up knocking out Ribeiro, but Ribeiro almost knocked him out as well. And honestly, you can't do that to Ozzy Diaz, in my opinion. I think Ozzy Diaz has a chin. I think they're both going to be swinging and banging. I think if you want to swing and bang, it's going to come down to who hits first. And if you give me a giant underdog, I mean, two guys are going to be going out there and banging it, I'm going to give me the guy that's been fighting the higher competition, who's actually taking a decent punch and can take it, and Ozzy Diaz, more than a guy in Zhang Mingyang that's been fighting low-level competition, knocking out these guys, and hasn't actually taken a decent punch yet. So give me Ozzy Diaz to win this fight. This dude's a Mexican from LA. You're gonna tell me he can't take a punch? Guarantee he could take a punch. So give me Zhang Mingyang to go out there and gas out probably after landing some hard shots, and Ozzy Diaz to take over and end up knocking him out. I'm taking Ozzy Diaz to win this fight by knockout. Alright guys, this next fight's gonna be Volkan Oezdemir taking on Carlos Ulberg, guys, and I'm gonna be taking Carlos Ulberg. I'm gonna be adding him to that third leg of the parlay with Loner Kavanagh and Feng. That's gonna be the third leg of that parlay. I think Carlos Ulberg is just a way better striker than Volkan Oezdemir. Volkan Oezdemir doesn't have a chin either, and I just think Carlos Ulberg has been showing recently recently that he's very patient. Ever since he came into the UFC and just bombed away on Kennedy and Njoku and ended up losing that fight by knockout because he gassed out, I think that City Kickboxing has got this guy to slow down, take his pace, throw his jab out there, land decent strikes, and take his time. And Volkan Oezdemir is coming over here off a win, I think, of Johnny Walker, knocking out Johnny Walker. But Johnny Walker has no chin. As soon as you hit Johnny Walker with a jab, he just drops. And Carlos Ulberg has shown that he's a dog and he could take a shot. And if he goes out there and just outstrikes Volkan Oezdemir exactly how I think he is keep on the outside, leg kick him, and just to where Volkan Oezdemir can't stand anymore because that lead calf is going to be right there in front of him. I think he ends up landing that hard shot over the top and knocking out Volkan Oezdemir. So give me Carlos Ulberg to win this fight, and that's going to be the third leg of that parlay. Alright guys, it's going to be Yan-Cong taking on Gabriela Fernandez. And yeah guys, I should just not take too long with this one. I'm going to be taking Yan-Cong. I think Yan-Cong is one of the best strikers in the whole entire division. Her grappling is starting to show up and wrestling is starting to be a lot better now too. She has a kickboxing win over Valentina Shevchenko. And the last time I got this fight, I came over here and told you guys we were all going to Yan-Cong tonight. And that's what we're all going to do tonight. After this fight's over, we're all going to be Yan-Conging out here tonight because she's going to go out here, get the knockout victory in my opinion. I think she's a way better striker. She's a way better all-around fighter than Gabriela Fernandez. So give me Yan-Cong. I'm going to be adding her into a parlay with Peter Yan in the main event. So give me Yan-Cong to win this fight. Alright guys, this fight's going to be Song Kenan taking on Muslim Salikov. And I'm going to be taking Song Kenan. If this fight was about 5 years ago or maybe even 3 years ago, guys, I'd be taking Muslim Salikov. But I think at this point, this man is 40 years old. I don't think he can do a lot of the kung fu stuff we're used to him doing. When this man used to be the kung fu guy, I forgot what his nickname was, but it's something with kung fu or the karate. This guy was just legit. He had great spinning back kicks. He had great spinning wheel kicks. Everything was really good with this guy's kicks and a kung fu stance. But now he's 40 years old. He doesn't have the flexibility and movement as he used to. And I think if Song Kenan just stays very patient, I think he's going to end up landing the harder shots to win this fight. I do believe Song Kenan can end up getting this knockout win, but I don't know if his power is going to be all there to knock out Muslim Salikov. And Muslim Salikov has shown that he has a decent chin, but when he gets hit by a hard shot like he did with Randy Brown just slept him. And with being 40 years old, I don't know if his chin's going to be able to regenerate after that knockout. So I just think Song Kenong's going to end up landing a hard shot and knocking him out. And even if he doesn't knock him out, I think if this fight goes to decision, I just think the judges are going to see the harder shots coming from Kenan just because Muslim Salikov's not going to be able to move as much as he used to. So give me Song Kenan to win this fight. I'm taking him on the money line. Alright guys, this one's going to be Yan Jianan taking on Tabitha Ricci. And guys, I'm going to be taking the underdog Tabitha Ricci. She's won 6 in a row. She's been taking these girls down. She has decent striking. Her hand's getting better every day. And Yan Jianan has decent boxing, but she's shown she has no takedown defense. Zhang Weili took her down many times, and Tabitha Ricci seems to be able to take down all her opponents. Every single opponent she has taken down, she's gotten them. I mean, she's fought, she has taken them down. And Yan Jianan has shown when she gets taken down by anybody in the UFC that has taken her down, she hasn't been able to get back up. But I just think Tabitha Ricci, if she gets her down, her jiu-jitsu, her ground and pound is going to be too much for her. I do think she's going to end up winning a decision victory. I think it might end up being a close split decision. But in my opinion, if Tabitha Ricci stays on top and she gets her down and she has about 3 minutes to work, she could end up getting a rear naked choke and submitting this girl, because Yan Jianan just shows when she gets on the floor, she doesn't really know as much what to do. So I just think Tabitha Ricci on the 6-fight winning streak, showing that she could take down all of her opponents and just outworking these girls. I think she can do the same exact thing for Yan Jianan. I'm not saying that I'm very confident in Tabitha Ricci, but if you give me her at this plus money as it is, I think I'm going to take her to go out here, get the grind, get her down to the floor, maybe get a submission, but end up just grinding her out to get a decision victory. So give me Tabitha Ricci on the money line to win this fight. Alright guys, it's going to be the main event. It's going to be Peter Yan taking on Deiveson Figueiredo. And like I said guys, I'm going to be adding this as the second leg of that parlay with Yan-Cong. I'm very confident in this parlay as well. I don't think Deiveson Figueiredo is going to be able to do anything with Peter Yan. I think Peter Yan's a better striker. I think Peter Yan has faster hands. I think he hits harder. And I think Fig is the only way he wins this fight if he gets Peter Yan to the floor. But if we've shown where Peter Yan has fought a lot of high-level wrestlers and they haven't been able to take him down. Aljamain Sterling went 2 for 12 in takedowns. Peter Yan went 11 for 45 takedowns. He shot like 45 takedowns. He got 11 of them, but that just shows Peter Yan was getting right back up. So Peter Yan has shown he has a very good takedown defense, and I don't think Deiveson Figueiredo is going to be able to take him down. I think this fight's going to come out to a standing up battle, and if you give me Peter Yan in a boxing match against a guy that's a lot slower than him, I think Peter Yan's going to piece him up, and he could possibly get the knockout, but I do end up thinking this is going to be a decision victory. But it's going to come down to strike for strike. Deiveson, the only way he wins this fight, like I said, if he gets this fight to the floor, but I do not see him being able to get to this fight to the floor. So give me Peter Yan to win this fight. I do think Peter Yan grinds this fight out, wins by decision, but I do end up seeing he could end up getting the knockout. So give me Peter Yan to win this fight, guys. Alright guys, that is it for today's video. It's UFC Fight Night, Yan versus Figueiredo. I'm out of here. Fight Night's going to be on in about 6 hours. Like the video, subscribe to the page, come back every single day guys. I do all different types of sports. I'm here every single day. And I'm out of here guys, and I'll see you guys later.